chaos in the field. Peter Ward, an excellent second place. Dylan Grant finds himself maybe on the back foot to begin with, but he's played a waiting game in that beautiful new car, in that NAPA Auto Parts entry, and now he's in podium contention here, in third.
Absolutely, and Jamie McDonald's been the one that stayed out of trouble. He hasn't done anything crazy, and he's found himself going from 5th or 6th all the way up to 4th place. So he's doing a great job as well. Three bars up from him on the last one with a 108.8. Caleb Byers has got half a second on the rest of the field currently at the moment. He's lost a lot of ground to the rest of the field. He's the fastest up of the race. He's second a lap faster than anyone else on the racetrack.
Laps running out of this. I want to say g'day to Paul Manuel as well, who joined us in commentary yesterday. His car that he would ordinarily have been running was involved in a crash on Friday at Turn 1. He dropped at the wheel of it. They had done an exhaustive amount of work overnight, pulled the back end of the car out, axle tubes, straightening some aspects of the chassis. He says he's going to give the car a new nickname, Elvis. So
had more hits than Elvis.
They need a bit of body work for that car. So he'll be a frustrated onlooker at the moment, but in the same breath, ultra proud of his class and where it's going. What about the racing it's producing? Dylan Grant may just catch Peter Ward. The margin was down to 0.7 the last time they crossed the start. What's that NAPA Auto Parts entry? No problem for our race leader, who is comfortably out of
They come around the southern loop and you can see there Grant's carrying a little bit more speed. He's going to try and line him up, going down towards turn 2. But we know how strong Peter Ward is on that outside line down there at turn 2 and 3.
Mid-track. Ward has kept it mid-track, making it ultra difficult for Dylan Grant here at the moment. That inside and out. He's positioned the car in the right sort of spots too when a few others were going crazy in the opening laps, and he now finds himself potentially fighting for second place here. Byers with 7.3 seconds, comfortably out in front.
Grant's going to have one more opportunity. He's right up behind Peter Ward. Can he get the move done down at the final corner?
Checkered flag awaits our race leader. Headed for the line of the NZ Championship. Caleb Byers does it again. Congratulations. But what about the run to the line? Ward does it.
No supply coming from the line. Fourth place. But Jamie McDonald and Jamie Andrews up on the top. Stop early on in that race, and he comes home in 6th after a mistake a little bit early on. Lance Gerlach came home there in 7th.
What a way to open the day here for the SP Tools TA2 New Zealand Championship. Some great racing there. No stopping Caleb Byers in the Camaro though. That's a massive win. 7.8 seconds I think it was in the end. Great fight for second. Peter Ward making Dylan Grant do all of the work and holding on for that excellent second.
Absolutely, and Caleb Byers and his dad Ben, he's running the car for him. Benny Byers, they've obviously got that car dialed in. Almost 8-second margin at the finish there, so what a drive from him. He's clearly taken to these cars like a duck to water, as young Caleb, out of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship last year and moved up into TA2 this year.
A couple little updates for you as well, a few announcements about the off-track activity that is happening today. Our signing session with our Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy drivers has been moved too. So just worth noting that it's moved, our signing session, where you can meet the drivers, get an autograph and so on, that is taking place in the old club rooms on the infield. If you could just meet on the grass area there in front, form a nice line in the run-up to 11 a.m. We'll get that started at 11:15. There is a grid walk happening before the race too at 12:25 today, and weather permitting, hopefully it stays the way that it is now, but weather permitting at 11:40 we will have supercars on track today. So we're going to grab a break in our coverage. You can, as we say, switch over to YouTube in about 4 minutes time. We'll be bringing you the live stream coverage, Bridgestone GR86 live here from Teretonga Park.
It's a proud city that sits on the edge of the inhabited world. South of here, Stewart Island, and then Antarctica. It's a location that has always loved its motorsport. Before this racetrack, they used the beach. Oreti Beach, made famous by the world's fastest Indian and Burt Munro. These days, it's all about the next generation of flyers, those with aspirations of Formula One and IndyCar. If you win here, you're on the radar. 19 drivers, 11 different nationalities. This weekend is a jam-packed schedule. Toyota's young guns in the GR86s, the multi-million-dollar fields in Summerset GTs, open-wheel classics in Formula Ford, the V8 roar of the TA2s, and the unmistakable shriek of the rotary-powered Mazdas. Welcome to the Ascot Park Hotel Teretonga International, live and local.
We are near the southern tip of New Zealand, home to around 55,000 people in Invercargill. Beautiful Victorian architecture, wilderness of Southland, long summer days, and of course the amazing Southern Lights and a rich motoring history. Commence our live coverage here at Teretonga Park this morning with Bridgestone GR86, their second race of the weekend. Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you with us wherever you're watching all around the world. Greg Rust and Ronan Murphy with you. We have a good team here to bring you the coverage. A little bit of wet weather about, but it was much stronger overnight, Ronan, and we're actually really pleased that there are cars on track, and fingers crossed we've got an action-packed afternoon of racing to come.
Absolutely, Rusty. It's great to be here at Teretonga Park. And this morning for this second race of the Bridgestone GR86s, it's going to be a reverse top 8. So our race winner from yesterday, Chris White, and the rest of the field following, they'll all swap positions, and we'll see him start from the 8th position.
So here's a look at Teretonga Park, which is New Zealand's oldest permanent motor racing circuit. We run, as you can see there, in the anti-clockwise direction. That long main straight, 800 to 900 metres, it's a real focal point, and getting into turn 1, you need to be able to arrest that speed, but still carry it through what we know as the Southern Loop.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very fast, high average speed around this track. A lot of the full throttle percentage around this track is one of the highest in the country, and the only real sort of slowdown point is this corner right here, the final hairpin.
Quick look at the grid for you. Ronan's just detailed how we established the grid. So Josh Bethune will start from pole position alongside Simon Hunter. Mac Templeton, great story, that young fella, out of P3. AJ Giddy, who's had a busy weekend of racing here, and yesterday's winner, and the man who won the feature race last time out, Chris White Jr. Harry Townsend from Hawke's Bay, out of 13. And we've got a very interesting race on our hands because the conditions are a bit misty. It is still damp underfoot. Those that can master those conditions around here, easier said than done, will be the ones worth watching.
Yeah, and there looks to be a lot less standing water than what we saw when we entered the track this morning, but it's actually looked like it started to rain a little bit again. So even though there's no standing water, the track's still very slick, very damp, and going to be very slippery out there for all these guys. All
running on the Bridgestone Control tyre. They've been great partners of the series for 2 years now. The kind of intensity of the racing that we've seen from these youngsters in recent years has eased a little. There's still a real hunger among all of them, but they're driving with some smarts at the moment. So Bethune with a good opportunity here to maximise this. Can Templeton have a good result? We've seen what he can do in Mazda competition. Now we're underway. I tell you what, Hunter's made a good start, but watch from the second row. The NAPA Auto Parts entry is hustling. It is Justin Allen, who's had a tough season so far, but he knows how to achieve things here at Invercargill in wet conditions, and he has launched away beautifully.
Great start there from Simon Hunter. We know he likes these conditions out in the wet. He's taken it to it like a duck to water, as we see there. Hugo Allen, he's going up the inside of Mac Templeton there. We've got a car off. It's the young Aussie.
Jack Schusick, I think that is it? In the 33, is it? Sorry, 39 rather. Wow, and that to use that great old Kiwi line, that is beached as, bro, isn't it? Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
Real shame there for Jack Schusick. He unfortunately just lost it on the exit there of turn 1. Car's run by Action Motorsport, and it's going to be a safety car now on the first lap of the 18 laps here in the race 2 here this morning.
Now, in the midst of all of that, as the GR Supra, the stunning GR Supra, makes its way out onto track here, I think that in the ensuing corners, while we were watching, unfortunately, Jack in the sand trap, I think that Justin Allen has been able to make his way past Simon Hunter for the lead. So replay of the start here. We can see that Hunter, the first phase is good. Then it gets a bit of wheel spin. The NAPA entry of Justin Allen gets a good launch, and it gets pretty willing down into turn 1.
Yeah, Justin Allen got the best start out of everybody. He just had nowhere to go. He couldn't do anything with it. He had a right karts by M2 competition wall in front of him with Josh Bethune and Simon Hunter. So we saw that's right there, the contact. So there was a gaggle of cars, Jack Suchik there, Lee Zaltwanger and Harry Townsend there, all 3-4 cars in a gaggle. And looked like, Zaltwanger got into the side. Yeah, he had a bit of a tank slapper and smacked the side of the 39 car, and that sent him around. So wasn't sure at first whether he'd had a helping hand, but in that case, definitely he got fed off the road there on the exit of 1.
I think it does depend on the categories that we have here for the Repco NextGen NZ Championship this weekend. Some can make that high line work, but not everybody. It's tricky up high there, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a hard line round the southern loop there, round turn 1, and there's so many different options. You can go to the high line, you can go to the inside, the middle, and that's exactly what we saw. 2 or 3 cars trying to take different lines. Then one of them got unsettled, ended up into the other, and unfortunately for Jack Suchik there, he's ended up in the gravel pit.
Ronan Cole-Trickle-Murphy there in commentary. I know Ronan, he always goes to the outside. All right, we've got... these men and women have done an incredible job yesterday, and we're going to be asking a lot of them, I sense, today. So recovery crew quickly spring into action. There are volunteers here from the Southland Car Club, from Motorsport New Zealand, all around the venue, braving the wet conditions to ensure that we can go racing. And unfortunately, yesterday we had to postpone or cancel one of the CT Front races just because it was so difficult. We'll update you on the state of play there and what we're doing yesterday. So it was postponed. That is the correct term for how things unfolded on Saturday afternoon here at Teratonga Park. So here we go. That's what I was suggesting before. While we were watching Shusik off in the sand trap, and they're getting the Borgia Cranes entry out there now, Justin Allen has taken the lead from Zach Blinko. Simon Hunter, the early race leader, is back in 3rd place. So that's the order of things.
Oh, speaking of Days of Thunder, it definitely is Days of Thunder out there right now. But no, you're exactly right, Rusty. Obviously, it wasn't quite in the shot, but obviously something's happened there at the front. Simon Hunter and Josh Bethune were 1 and 2 with Justin Allen in 3rd. So clearly something's gone on there around the rest of the lap between the teammates, between Simon Hunter and Josh Bethune, because they've both lost 2 positions out of all of that.
So where is yesterday's race winner in Chris White? He is up to 6th place.
He's actually behind his teammate, Mac Templeton. So the 2, Neil Motorsport in conjunction with Wood Motorsport, those cars engineered by Mark Wood there down at Neil Motorsport, they are in 5th and 6th. So
that's actually a really good talking point. I mean, we've often talked about Neil Motorsport generally in commentary here, but just tell people a little bit more about Mark, because he's got a really significant motor racing history, doesn't he?
Yeah, Mark Wood's got international experience engineering cars overseas, but not only over there, but a range of history here in New Zealand as well. He's engineered actually championship winning cars in this series as well in previous years. So just so much experience down there, and combined with Andy Neal as well, who's been around a very long time. It's certainly is a bit of a brains trust down there between those guys running Chris White and Mac Templeton, and no better people for those 2 young guys to learn off in their budding racing careers.
Mark Wood is a huge part of that team, and he's been an engineer for McLaren and more, so really impressive CV.
Certainly is, and there's Mark Wood there on the screen, the team down there at Neil Motorsport, watching on, checking the times, and we shouldn't hopefully be too far away from green flag conditions again. That car of Jack Suchik's been removed and extracted out of the gravel trap. So as we see there, Justin Allen for Syndicate Motorsport, he's at the front of the field currently. Zach Blinko there in 2nd, Simon Hunter in 3rd, Josh Bethune there in 4th, and then the 2 Neil Motorsport cars run in conjunction with Wood Motorsport there in 5th and 6th. Hugo Allen, our reigning champion, he's back in 7th. We saw him, he got right into it at the start of that race. He was in it, getting door to door with other cars, and so he's there in 7th, so I'm sure he'll be looking to move forward. And AJ Giddy, our fast man from yesterday, he absolutely pulled that gap back down between him and Chris White. He finished 2nd. He's sitting currently in 8th. So Chris White's managed to make a little bit more progress than he has, but I'm sure with the pace of that car yesterday, he'll be looking to move forward.
Just looking our cameraman at that Mad Butcher entry there a moment ago, and Ronan reflecting on Hugo Allen. Had a nice chat with him this morning. Says, I'm feeling good. I'm just kind of finding my feet again. And you know what? You could see him weaving and sliding the car there a moment ago. He says, I am loving the wet weather. So some people do, you know, as they say, they take to it and enjoy it. And he's one of them. So
certainly is. And we see there Jack Suchik, he's actually managed to get back onto the back of the field. He's trying to get all the dirt out of the cars. We see the safety car lights are out, so we're not too far away from a race restart here. We've got 15 laps to go in this Bridgestone GR86 race 2.
Great work, Jack Suchik, who's getting some valuable miles here in New Zealand for a resumption of his racing in Australia this year in 86 machines. Everyone trying to get the last bit of temperature. Slight little weaves left and right. We're single file behind the NAPA Auto Parts entry of Justin Allen, Zach Blinko, who's been a model of consistency this year. Really positive stuff for Simon Hunter as well. We're set to go racing here again at Teretonga Park in the Bridgestone GR86. Nice way to open the day's activity for the Repco NextGen NZ Championship here. Wipers are getting a lot of work at the moment, and Blinko is right up behind Allen at the restart. He's done a nice job of it. Sneaks the nose up the inside. Is he brave enough under brakes to dive down there? He might. Oh, it's so hard.
Right. And Justin Allen, he went really, really early, but he didn't fool Zach Blinko, and Blinko actually went with him. So we see there, Hugo Allen's now trying to go around the outside of Chris White, and he's managed to make that move work.
So difficult trying to pull that car up, Zach Blinko, down at turn 1. It was right on the edge there. So back we go to Hunter, Bethune, Mac Templeton, Chris White and Hugo Allen, and you can see there's been a little swap there between the 88 and the 1. So Allen's moved ahead for now at least of Hugo Allen.
Great pass by the reigning champion, and now he's sitting on after Mac Templeton. Chris White's not letting it go though. He's now trying to get back past Allen. So we always knew that Chris White and AJ Giddy, they were the top 2 from yesterday. They were going to have their work cut out for them. They've got some really fast cars ahead of them to try and pass. As we see them now going 2 wide, AJ Giddy's cleared Chris White, and now he's trying to go around the outside of Hugo Allen. So Giddy on the move. He's now up the outside of Hugo Allen, coming up the front straight. Allen's in behind Mac Templeton, so he's probably getting a little bit more of a tow. He's got Chris White in behind him, who may even give him a little bit of a bump draft.
Man, AJ Giddy's had a great weekend, hasn't he? The form that he's had here this weekend, he's been busy behind the wheel too. On the outside here as they go down into turn 1, and this is a really not angry, but it's an energised battle pack, and they're all having a crack at it. Simon Hunter holds the final spot in the top 3. It's Allen leading by a narrow margin over Zach Blinko, and naturally Allen is the quickest driver on track at the moment. Here we go. This is for position. Dives down the inside, Josh Bethune, and gets it done up to 3rd.
Yeah, Simon Hunter made that pretty easy for Josh Bethune there. Maybe stuffed up the braking zone down there at turn 2, but Bethune had it pretty easy going down the inside there. So Simon is, as we see there, Hugo Allen's now going up the inside of Mac Templeton. Templeton's getting freight trained there because AJ Giddy's now going up the inside of him as well.
Is that a technical term, stuffed up the braking? I've not heard that before. Here we go, down into the final corner. I love it. And that forces Simon Hunter to park the car in the middle and make it difficult for Giddy, for Hugo Allen. Allen's got speed here, he's got pace, side by side with Mac Templeton as they run down the main straight. Spare a thought for Giddy in the 10. So difficult to see there with all the spray coming off the cars in front, the close combat nature of this. It gives Hunter just a little bit of breathing space. Allen gets it done.
And Templeton recedes that position there, lets Hugo Allen go, but he's wide again. And now AJ Giddy's looking to go up the inside of him. Chris White's on the outside behind his teammate there. There's a real bottleneck of cars now forming up behind Simon Hunter. Hugo Allen's in there, AJ Giddy's in there, Mac Templeton, Chris White, some of the fastest young guys in the category. They're all bottled up there, trying to go around the outside of each other.
It's almost like bump drafting.
Oh.
A bit of contact.
Hugo Allen's going to squeeze AJ Giddy. Giddy was having none of it. Gave him a little love tap there out of turn 3. Now Mac Templeton's trying to go back up the inside.
Giddy's car was like straight out of the World Rally Championship, then a little bit sideways through the corner, and he held on to it. It's bent the mirror as he makes contact with Matt Templeton. This is awesome. Awesome stuff here at Teratonga Park. You can forget the likes of Zach Blinko and Justin Allen. They bolted. Bethune has a bit of breathing space too. Oh, Simon Hunter all crossed up. That's going to hurt him off the exit. And these three are neck and neck.
Mac Templeton trying to go around the outside of the reigning champion. He's not giving up that outside line. They're giving each other room.
Blinko
going to go 3 wide across the line.
Unbelievable stuff here.
And Chris White's bump drafting his teammate.
Who's the bravest down at turn 1? Who's going to give here? Chris White playing a waiting game. It doesn't work, but they make it work. Unbelievable.
Oh, Templeton's gone.
He's gone.
He's in the wall. The 92 car. Something had to give at some point there, and unfortunately, it's all gone wrong for Mac Templeton.
I feel for him. He's had a ripper weekend here so far. Good pace in that car. We're going to get the safety car back on track here and just settle everything back down. While we were focused on that battle, and you can appreciate why our director Tyler has done exactly that, it's close up in front between Allen and Blinko.
And what just has happened there is AJ Giddy, the safety car's been dropped. Did he manage to clear Simon Hunter before the safety car got deployed? He may have to get that position back, but something had to give at some point. Young Mac Templeton there, he was driving so well.
Look at this.
This was incredible. He gave Hugo Allen a bump. He's trying not to hit AJ Giddy. 3 wide. He's got his teammate up behind him there, Chris White. He's trying to get into the mix as well. See little bits of debris flying everywhere off the doors and off the tyres coming around, and then there just something had to give. Hugo Allen had nowhere to go there in the middle of the track. He got sandwiched, and unfortunately Mac Templeton came out worse off than anyone in all of that.
Brave stuff from Chris White, given the form that he's showing in the championship at the moment. It goes pear-shaped in front. Look at them. They're all right on the edge, dancing through one. And unfortunately for Mac Templeton, just slides over the lip after the contact and gone.
The positive for Mac is that car actually didn't hit the wall at a very high speed. So, yes, the front end will be damaged, but it might actually be all right to maybe even continue. If it hasn't busted the radiator, he might be all right to keep going. But either way, it should hopefully be able to be repaired for the final race. But disappointing for Mac. He's driving so well. Very, very brave driving down the outside of those guys. But they all, up to that point, there was heaps of respect given. And then just at some point, going around 3 wide round turn 1, one of the cars came a bit unsettled. And unfortunately, Mac was the loser and all of that. But great racing from the GR86s. This is what we love to see. This is what the category's all about. Some of the brightest young talents in New Zealand motorsport currently all going hammer and tong here in a quite damp and wet Teretonga Park.
I'm trying to see who's at the wheel of the GR Super Safety Car. I think it's Callum. He's going to get some laps today. He does some great work with your dad's brilliant driver training program with Andrew Waite and others all around the country. It's great what they're doing to help youngsters here in New Zealand be in a better place when they hit our roads. The Street Smart program is superb. Now, that is a bit of us, mate. Why can't we just convince them in broadcast land we need an easy up like that, some breakfast gear, get the fire on?
It's breakfast time.
You're a camper from way back, aren't you?
It's breakfast time, Rusty. We might have to head down there afterwards for a bacon and egg sandwich.
Has anyone seen Richard Crail? He's missing at the moment.
A couple of beers first thing in the morning. Not a bad way to start your Sunday. But as we see there, Mac Templeton's car, unfortunately, the New World St. Martin's car, getting extracted from the gravel trap down there, or from the should I say the tyre wall actually. But what a race so far. It's just been action after action.
This legend here, I think, may have had a few amber lemonades to start the day. Good on him. Great stuff. Hope he has a wonderful day here at Teratonga Park. They're good people here, and the Southland hospitality is honestly unlike anything else. They're very, very welcoming and proud to hold a round of New Zealand's premier circuit racing championship, the Repco NextGen NZ Championship in town. We're on the road too in this part of the world. Next week we will be a few hours up the road in Cromwell at the amazing Highlands for the 70th running, a milestone weekend of the NAPA New Zealand Grand Prix. And unreal lineup, an unreal support cast there as well. So Jack Shuzik is back on, as Ronan detailed there before, after his earlier off. We just need to get a sense of what Mac Templeton's car is like, and they're continuing to work on it down there at the moment, the recovery team.
Yeah, hopefully he can get up and running again. It'd be good to see him back out there. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad. But what we almost needed a break just about, Rusty. The racing was off the scale.
Where to look.
It was off the scale, and this is what this category was designed for, what it's all about. Some great racing, live and local.
I'll tell you who's a bit of a danger man too. We were focused on that battle, Ronan, but Zach Blinko was really starting to apply the pressure to Justin Allen. So there's a couple of little storylines we need to keep an eye on here. Chris White is in 6th. He's not been quite able to make the ground, just given it was incredibly difficult to pass. But I sort of respect that. That's actually quite smart when you consider the Bridgestone GR86 Championship and the way that he's going about things.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were... Zach Blinko was probably hoping that there wasn't going to be a safety car, because he was going to be able to keep putting on. This is going to be the last lap, so Blinko is unfortunately not going to get another opportunity to try and have a go at Justin Allen. So the positions they're in currently are where they're locked into.
That's great for Justin Allen. I mean, he'll basically will finish this one under safety car. For he and the Syndicate Motorsport team, been a difficult season so far. And he said we went back to basics here. I know Invercargill, I know what it's like in the damp conditions. And yes, we jumbled the grid for the second one of the weekend, but he's made it work. So awesome stuff. Blinko again, right at the pointy end, and we've seen that a lot so far in the 2025-26 season, haven't we?
Yeah, Zach Blinko's done a great job, and he was keeping Justin Allen very honest. Would have been interesting to see what could have happened if we'd had a race restart, but the positions as they are locked in. Josh Bethune, he did a great job to come through to finish 3rd. Actually, he started off the front row, so he's actually lost a position. Actually, 2 positions, but either way, good recovery. Something obviously happened on the first lap there that we missed out on seeing, but still get a podium is never a bad day. Simon Hunter there, great drive from him to be 4th. AJ Giddy there in 5th, Chris White in 6th. Hugo Allen there, our reigning champ. He was in the thick of the action there in 7th in the Mad Butcher car. And unfortunately for the safety car, otherwise the action would have continued. And gosh, all it's doing is making me more excited for the race later on today, Rusty.
It's been, I mean, you know, it's a smaller field. What have we got here? 15 cars, but the racing's been really good so far this season. A diverse array of winners. I think we're about to add another one to the list. We're now up to, I think, 6 different winners so far this season.
Yeah, exactly right. And another team, a different car, different driver to come across the line to take the victory. Zach Blinko there, he's doing a great job to keep consolidating his championship charge there in 2nd.
It ends under safety car, but you know what? Justin Allen, he needs that. It's a great shot in the arm. Congratulations to the NAPA Auto Parts driver. Zach Blinko with more valuable points, home in 2nd. Josh Bethune off the performance he had last time out as well. Nice job there in 3rd. And Simon Hunter will be cheering with that. He would have loved a top 3, but 4, take it.
Absolutely, no, great drive from Simon there. Come home 4th, AJ Giddy there in 5th. He was one of our fast guys from yesterday. In these conditions, his car just seems to come alive. The Mackenzie Motorsport cars, all of them have seemed to be really, really quick in these conditions. And then Chris White backing up a good result from his race win yesterday to come home 6th. But the action's only going to continue from here.
Recap how they finish under safety car. Justin Allen does it. Well done, Zach Blinko. Josh Bethune completes the top 3. AJ Giddy, a man for all seasons, a racer who's right in the thick of it, home in 5th, ahead of Chris White, another putting valuable points in the bank for the title chase. Barnes is 8th, Cameron Hill 9th, and Lee Zeltwanger rounds out your top 10. Another encouraging outing for Lucas McGill too, the youngster picking up the Tony Quinn Foundation Scholarship, 12th. Highlights for you of the 2nd Bridgestone GR86 race of the weekend. And the NAPA entry just absolutely launched away. Justin Allen was right in the thick of the fight for the race lead. This unfolded up on the high line. Lee Shuzik going off and into the gravel trap bit meant that the recovery crew had to come back out. When the racing resumed, it was Allen at the lead, but he was under siege from Blinko. Blinko couldn't quite get it squared, get it turned. He was right at the limit of the car in these wet conditions, and it was all going on behind them. Josh Bethune, Simon Hunter, here's Hugo Allen and Mac Templeton. Chris White's in there as well.
Yeah, what a battle pack that was. It was getting pretty rowdy in there, Rusty, and unfortunately Matt Templeton came out on the bad side of that one. We saw there a bit of paint being traded between AJ Giddy and Mac Templeton, and then right there, Mac chose to go to the outside. Credit to Hugo Allen and AJ Giddy giving him the room on the outside. Then he did a bit of bump drafting with his teammate.
One of the best bits of racing you'll see all season long. Down the long straight at Teretonga Park, 3 wide, with Chris White waiting for things to go pear-shaped, and unfortunately for Mac Templeton, it did. Little bit of contact up on the high line. Off goes the new Wilson Martins entry.
And both times we saw cars go off there on the exit of turn 1, it was a very similar situation. 3 wide, car in the middle, car on the inside, and then someone gets unsettled, and unfortunately both Jack Suchik and Mac Templeton were came out on the bad side of both those incidents into the gravel trap.
So she finished under safety car the race. Big day coming your way here. Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. You can tell already how much that means to Justin Allen, like a bit of a weight off his shoulders. So experienced in this class.
Leave my car alone.
Been a good start to Sunday for Justin. Let's go down there now. Here's Rihanna.
What a way to start things here at the NextGen Championship at Teratonga Park. Congratulations, Justin Allen. What a race. You probably had no idea what was going on behind you. It was wild. Tell us about the start, though, from P4. Well done.
Yeah, got a good start, and I knew the grip was on the outside there based on yesterday's sort of racing. So, no, look, I got to say thanks to Glenn, thanks to Blake this weekend. Got to say hi to my kids at home as well, and huge thanks to Mum and Dad for getting me here as well. Looking forward to the NAPA Grand Prix next weekend, but at least I put the NAPA car on P1 this weekend.
We are absolutely loving it. Congratulations, and taking out second place for Mackenzie Motorsport. Once again, just clocking up those points. Zach Blinko, wild race out there. Just tell us how challenging it is in these changing conditions. Every lap is different.
Yeah, obviously a pretty similar track to yesterday. Yeah, that start was key, and obviously with those safety cars, getting that good position on that first lap was really, really good. So yeah, stoked with that result.
Congratulations once again. More podiums he clocks up, and taking out third positions, Josh Bethune. Wild race. I can tell you're a little bit disappointed with that one. Talk us through the start and what happened.
Yeah, I just let the rears up and going in second gear, and that was that. But yeah, there's just no grip down the bottom, and when you got cars outside you can't really move them out the way.
Well done to consolidate with a podium position. Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations with the team.
Ree, thank you. It's time for the podium for race 2 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship. Presenting the trophies, the Bridgestone Regional Manager, Gareth Michelle. In third place from right carts by M2, Josh Bethune. In second place, representing Mackenzie Motorsport, Zach Blinko. And what a race, what a win for Syndicate Racing. It's Justin Allen. Congratulations to our winners in race 2 of Bridgestone 86 Championship here at Teratonga. Tricky conditions for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship. Cars coming out of pit lane. Oh, Nolan Alla has had a spin on the exit of the long southern loop here at Teratonga and has spun to the infield in the Martini car from Giles Motorsport. He's recovered, and it looks like we will continue to stay green in qualifying for Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. Good morning, everyone. Wet conditions, as you can see, it's just on 12 degrees just outside of Invercargill. Forecasted top of 15 degrees today, and showers expected throughout the day. Right now, not raining, but very wet on track after heavy overnight rain. So this will be a challenging session for the 18 drivers that will take part in this qualifying session that will set the grid for race number, well, a feature race later on this afternoon. Richard Crail and Andrew Waite with you. There has been a change in proceedings. So race 3 has been officially postponed. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, we haven't even had that yet, but the plan is to run race 2 a little bit later on today, and then we go straight into the Spirit of Nations feature race this afternoon. Race 3 will be postponed, not cancelled, postponed to a later date. We'll keep you posted on that. Keep an eye on the Repco NextGen NZ and Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand social channels for that. The Sri Lankan fans out in force to cheer on their man Yevan David as we get set for qualifying. 15 minutes. Fastest time goes to pole for the feature race, Andrew Waite. This is another tricky condition, but they're used to this now, very similar to what we saw in qualifying one yesterday morning.
It certainly is, and one thing you'll notice is the way that they've gone out of the pit lane this time with all the red flags. In the qualifying yesterday morning, there was a lot of cars that didn't get clear laps, so everyone just getting straight into it to hustle out a lap time to make sure they've at least banked something. So as the session goes on, they get more of a chance to put other laps in, as we see Ugochukwu there go around Kalle Rovanperä, who got a podium yesterday and was absolutely stoked with that in race 1.
If you weren't with us or haven't caught up yet on the live stream, a brilliant victory yesterday for Freddie Slater in race 1. He and Ernesto Rivera drag raced down towards turn 1. Rivera speared off. Slater then drove away into the distance, survived a couple of safety cars and ultimately got his first win of the season. Jin Nakamura continued his strong season with his second place of the championship so far. And as you say, Kalle Rovanperä, his first single-seat podium finish, earned on absolute 100% merit and skill and brilliant race car driving, and he was as excited as we've seen him all season. To be fair, he's finished, so he's pretty straight down the line, but he was up and about after that result yesterday.
Yeah, and you don't blame him. Obviously, he's got a big task that he's taking on. Being part of this championship and making the switch out of a WRC car into this is certainly a huge feat, and that'll only help build his confidence as well. So you see Ugochukwu there, he's super wide through turn 1. They're using the outside line through there, getting off the rubber part of the track. And you can notice as well, they're staying off the white lines on the exit of the track there, as they get very, very slippery, as we see Ugochukwu there, losing the rear slightly on entry through turn 2. He's got Freddie Slater in behind him as well. So Freddie Slater actually looks like he's closing that gap a bit on Ugochukwu there as well. So Slater, you've seen how fast he is in the rain already. And again, looking super quick. But Louis Sharp at the moment, he is the fastest out of anyone. We know he had a shocker of a day yesterday, not getting a clean lap in qualifying, having to start off the back, had that damage as well. So certainly wants to redeem himself today, I'm sure, and try and get a few more championship points.
Feels like an important qualifying session for the championship leader, Andrew. His last 2 qualifyings, 11th for the feature race at Topor and 12th for race 1 yesterday. So 25-point championship lead for Ugochukwu, but this is important. He's second at the moment with Freddie Slater quickest, Louis Sharp third, Kanato Lee next. And Sharp's got a bit of an issue with the bonnet. That's the shock cover on the front of his car as Trevor Luxarette has come off the road, but looks like he'll be able to rejoin. So a little issue, one of the fixings on the front. It's called the damper cover, so it covers the front suspension components of these wings and slicks open wheelers, and it's held down by Zeus fasteners on the front, and sometimes they do come loose. So that'll be a lot of drag for Freddie.
Yeah, so it's sort of whether or not, if you want to get it sorted, now's your opportunity, because there's still enough time in this session but at the same time, you're nearly better to just stay out there because you want to get as many laps as you possibly can, but you don't want to run the risk of race control deeming it unsafe and then getting them to come in later on, right, as the session gets better and better. So the team will be looking at that. They'll be working out what the best option there, but maybe better to just take your pain now, come in and get that sorted.
Freddie Slater quickest, 61.8. Ugo Chukwu second, just 0.06 behind. Then it's Jin Nakamura and Kanato Lee in fourth. Kanato will be hoping he qualifies better than that because he has qualified fourth on 3 occasions so far in CT Frot this summer. It is his position on the grid looking to crack the top 3. Then it's Louis Sharp back to 5th. Schooler, Rovan Pera, Sway inside the top 10. Ryan Wood 9th. And Phil McLaughlin rounding out the top 10. This is going to be a session, though, Andrew. It feels like you need to stay on the racetrack as long as you can. That's not what's happened to Jack Taylor. He's had a little bit of an off. That's coming out of the final corner, turn 7, the slowest corner here at Teretonga Park. Track evolution's going to be big, isn't it? It's not raining at the moment. Lots of spray around. This track will gradually evolve as the wet weather Pirellis move all that standing water off the racing line.
Yeah, it certainly will, and you just best to stay out there on track and do as many laps as you can, because not only is the track going to get better, your confidence is going to grow as the session goes on. Is that Slater off at turn 1
and
with
Trevor.
Latourette.
So both cars buried. They're not going anywhere, and that will almost certainly bring out the red flag. Well, Latorette's going to drive away again. That's 2 from 2 for the young man from Denver, Colorado. But we do go red because while Trevor can drive out, Freddie absolutely cannot. At the place where all of the cars have been stuck this weekend. Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, so it looks like Slater may have tried to go up the inside of Latourette there, and as we only just caught the end of it, not sure what led into that contact there, whether or not Slater ran wide or Latourette didn't see him. But either way, that's a bit of a blow for Freddie Slater as well. Is yeah, not what you want, especially in this qualifying session. Super important, as we've seen.
And the other side effect to that, Andrew, and we saw this yesterday, there were 3 drivers penalised 3 grid positions for bringing out the red flag. So you do cop a penalty. I guess the decision will be cause of the red flag and which of the 2 cars it was, and that will be up to Motorsport New Zealand Race Control to deliver that verdict upstairs here in this very good control tower here at Teretonga Park, where a lot of the racing history and the 44 Formula One drivers that have raced at this venue, either before, during or after their Formula One careers, it's all really well documented. An amazing place with so much history since the 1950s. So 7.5 minutes to go. Slater buried in the gravel trap, but currently quickest and 6/100ths of a second faster than Ugo Chukwu. Kanato Lee is 3rd, which would represent his best performance of the season so far. Jin Nakamura next, then Louis Sharp in 5th. Zach Schooler 6th. Had a really challenging day yesterday. Calais Rovan Pera 7th, backing up his strong form, which is awesome to see. Yuanpu Shui is next in 8th, then Ernesto Rivera and Ryan Wood rounding out the top 10. Rusty.
It never ceases to amaze me that this year's championship and the impact that it is having, not just on YouTube and our viewers here in New Zealand or all around the world for that matter, but just the layers of support going on here, Krause. So last night, the Sri Lankan community here in Invercargill had their postponed Christmas party, and Yevon David went along. So good. There are 250 Sri Lankan families that call Invercargill home, and we're hoping to have a lot of them here for the racing today. They've got musical instruments and a whole lot. How good is that?
It's been such a highlight of the season, Rusty, and in particular the Sri Lankan community, but also the Finnish community that have got behind Calais Rovan Pera as well. It's just been such a special part of the championship so far.
It certainly gives it that international feel and flavour, doesn't it? Having all these cars here, being part of it, and the drivers, it's so good that they're embracing their heritage as well, where they're from. So just adds another whole layer, which is great. Rihanna.
It was a really solid day yesterday for Cooper Shipman. He's been kind enough to give us a quick word. Cooper, just tell us how treacherous it is out there on track.
Yeah, pretty similar conditions to race on yesterday. So it's just about, finding that grip. The track's getting better every single lap. So it's just about trying to find that little bit every time you go around. And yeah, that's where we're missing a little bit right now, but hopefully we can find a little bit before the end of this qualifying session.
Whereabouts is catching you out the most?
It's not the one place specifically. I think it's just kind of everywhere, just searching for where that the best line is to find the most grip. Like I said, it's changing every lap, so we're just going to have to keep adapting and try to find that time.
We really appreciate you giving us the time. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
The young man from Austin, Texas, qualified 9th, finished 6th in race 1 yesterday, which was a really strong performance. If there's an upside for Freddie Slater here, Andrew, it's that he can get back to pit lane and they can service this car at M2 competition and get that damper cover locked back down. So for the resumption of play in qualifying, he will be good to go. He currently sits on provisional pole position. Qualifying hasn't been his strongest suit so far. He's qualified 3rd on a couple of occasions, including yesterday. It was elevated to the front row of the grid, however, for race 1 due to some penalties for drivers around him, and was able to convert that into a race 1 win. So he would love to be able to qualify on the front row. Race control is investigating the incident and the red flag to determine how that will all play out. But he gets to pit lane. We shouldn't be too far away from a resumption of play here at Teratonga in qualifying number 2.
You may be wondering that little bit of what looks like damage to the front of Freddie Slater's car. That is not. That was already hanging off the car, the what they call the bonnet, even though it is tiny. It just covers the suspension there, and they'll have a quick look at that, get that refastened, and by the looks of the contact, as we only just caught the end of it, was wheel to wheel with the other car. So they'll string it up after this, make sure everything's aligned properly, but I'd say the car's in good enough condition to get straight back into this.
Jack Taylor leads the field out. Pit lane exit priority for car number 50. I've loved the evolution of some drivers, Wadey, over the season as it's gone. So Cooper Shipman, we heard from, has sort of found his stride after a tough start to the year, but Jack Taylor's been another one who's been really impressive over the last couple of races. Qualified 8th and raced to 5th place yesterday. So while some got into these cars at round 1 and were right on the money, for others it's just taken a little bit longer, but they're starting to build some confidence and build that performance. It's been fascinating to watch that evolution over the first 2 rounds and into round 3.
And end of the day, that's what being part of the championship's about. For some drivers, it's about just pure miles as they're getting into their big seasons over in Europe or the US. Other drivers, it's about coming here and upskilling so they can take this, the next step in their future in their career. So, guys like Freddie Slater, he's clearly someone who's here for miles. He's European regional champion, and to come and do this, it's more about just being in a car, doing the miles, doing racing. And guys like Trevor Lazarette, who's making a big step up, for him, it's about just pure improvement and understanding the next step in his career.
Explain this to me, Andrew, as the cars head down this 840-metre long front straight. They did it in the dry and they're doing it in the rain too, coming up against the pit wall all the time. They weave across to the left and then gradually glide back across to the right. Just explain that.
Yeah, so the idea of that is basically just to protect themselves from the wind on as a track. As the wind predominantly comes across the track from the driver's left, so they tuck themselves up underneath the wall there just so they don't get blown around as much. And you might think it's not a lot going on, but not a lot of time gained, but we've seen qualifying sessions won by hundredths of a second, and there's hundredths of a second gain by going left to cover yourself and protect yourself from the wall, as we see Calais Rovanpera sideways.
He could be at the Monte Carlo, back where he's won 2 World Rally Championships. It's on at the moment, and we've seen some really cool stuff with Ollie Solberg doing great things there, another famous rally surname. Lots of opposite lock through turns 3, 4, 5, 6, and even the exit of 7 for Rovanpera, who currently sits in 7th position. A good explanation from Andrew Wade about every hundredth of a second even paying off in CT Front this season. So Rovanpera, they start the flying lap now. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in qualifying. This will set the grid for the Spirit of Nations Trophy race later on this afternoon. The feature race, longest race of the weekend. Before that, we have race 2, which is the reverse top 8 from yesterday's result, which means we have the rather tantalising prospect of Ukachukwu and Ryan Wood lining up line astern for a drag race down towards turn 1. So we look forward to that. Stay tuned on the Repco NextGen NZ coverage throughout the day for that one. Right now, we're setting the grid for the feature race.
Calero Papira certainly looks energised as Ryan Wood's been off the road. That looks like, so that's on the entry into turn 5, even though he's ended up all the way back. Oh, just trying to get my bearings there. So yeah, that's on the entry into turn 5. So easy one done there, because you're trying to brake and go around the right-hander beforehand. Car can snap, straighten up, go into the grass, and then it's a long way back on the circuit from there.
Didn't have a lot of confidence yesterday, Ryan Wood, in the wet conditions. Struggled a little bit in the MTech team as well. Calero Rovanpera improves his lap time.
In the background there, sorry to interrupt. That's Manson there, so he's off in the gravel. He'll be frustrated with himself with that one. So red flag is coming out once again in this session. So big shame for Seb Manson there. It's certainly a corner we've seen so many cars off this weekend, as the rain actually looks like it's starting to fall a bit heavier again.
And Theo McLaughlin as well. 15th in the championship. Solid day yesterday. Was one of several drivers who did get a penalty following qualifying for bringing out the red flag. Let's go back and unpick this.
Two of them off. So,
mutually assured red flag there between the two of them.
Yeah, from that shot, I don't think there would have been contact on the way in. I think it was just a bit of a sympathy vote there for Seb Manson following in. As explained yesterday, what happens so easily is you've got so many layers of what you're looking for as a driver as you're turning into the corner, and you've got a car in front, you're using them as a bit of reference as well. So as Fion's gone straight ahead off, Seb's tried clearing the brake to carry the same amount of speed in, and then obviously Fion's just carried a little bit too much, gone off there. We've seen so many cars off over the weekends here, and there is a reason for it. It's just a corner that no matter what you do into there, you never feel like you're fast enough into there. It's such a fast corner as it is. You're on the aero. You're up at 240 k's an hour. You're on the brake. You're trying to get off the brake to roll the speed in. And as a driver, you're turning and then you're going, I feel like I can be quicker. Just clear that brake a bit more to carry that bit of speed. And that's what's happened there for Fion. Cleared the brake a little bit too fast, carried a little bit too much speed, and that's unfortunately what sails you off into the gravel, off into the scenery.
We've seen it so many times today. Let's have a look at this replay. So this is the entry to the corner that Andrew was talking about. So you can see Manson just spinning away midway through the corner, and then they'll both come into shot here. So McLaughlin running wide, but Manson spun quite earlier than that, sort of much more towards, I don't know, what would be the first apex, I suppose, of turn 2. And then Fionn McLaughlin just off in front of him. There's 10 minutes of red flag time allocated to qualifying in CT Frot. So the clock has stopped for the moment, which means there's still 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. The only two drivers that improved their times in that little resumption of play we just had there for a couple of minutes were Calero Rovanpera, who improved to a 62.47, and Cooper Shipman in the 14 car, who improved to a 63.6 up to 15th position. No one else was able to improve their lap time. And once that 10 minutes of red flag time disappears, the clock starts running and the session time begins to run out. So they'll all be hoping this is a quick recovery, and our incredible volunteer officials and the team at Winton Towing, who have been very busy this weekend, providing the trucks. They're going to have to get this done, but they have been very efficient in their recovery so far this weekend. Winton Cranes is the business. The truck's going to have to go in for a service after the weekend. It's done about 30 450-metre trips from pit exit down towards turn 1 and back again. There's Rovanpera, 7th position. What a performance yesterday it was to grab his first single-seat podium finish. Just his second top 10 finish of the season so far. He's climbed up just a couple of positions outside the top 10 in the championship. In fact, not that far out, less than 20 points out of top 10 in the standings now. When we talk about double stacking in motorsport and a pit lane point of view, we're going to double stack some Formula Regional cars on the back of the truck and get them back to pit lane. Freddie Slater still on provisional pole by 6/100ths of a second over Uga Chukwu and Kanato Lee in third. Okay, can see your brain ticking over, Andrew Waite. You're pondering this turn 1 incident that has brought another red flag out. Come back to that as we go down to Rihanna.
Just take this opportunity to grab a quick word with Trevor Latourette. Let me take my hood off so you can see me, Trevor. We've spoken just how highly competitive this series has been so far this year. How have you been finding it?
It's been phenomenal. Racing against some of the best drivers in the world has given me an opportunity to grow in ways that I never could have imagined. So every day, you know, taking steps, but racing against guys of this caliber has just been really cool and amazing to see the support from around the world.
New racetracks, new race car, weather that can change every second, every lap. I mean, for this weekend in particular, what have you found to be the most challenging?
Yeah, sure. It's been like drinking information through a fire hose. So you're trying to pick up as much of it as you can. But yeah, for me, it's learning how to take this big car and through these fast corners and in the best way possible. So we're learning. I've got a great team behind me helping me out and great coaches showing me what to do. So yeah, hopefully we can be a little bit more competitive as the weekend rolls on.
Thank you so much for your time during this delay. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Rihanna used the word challenging there a moment ago, and that is exactly, I think, the word that Mark Pilcher used from M2 competition, just to the left of Trevor Latourette there. Man, this is not easy for you crews, and let alone the drivers, is it?
Far easier for us than the driver, but yeah. Character building, you'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah. What's the season been like for you so far? It's our first chance to kind of catch up. We relish, we embrace the new teams that have come into this. It's elevated things a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, which is great. It's exactly what was needed. It's been tough, though, with the intensity of everything. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know.
Absolutely. We're going to go green here. Just before we go quickly, have you kept a little eye on Arvid Lindblad? He had a great season with you guys here. Now teammate to Liam Lawson in Formula One. I mean, crazy 12 months for that young man.
Yeah, exactly. And there'll be a few right behind him out of this pit lane. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, thank you for chatting with us. There you go.
Thanks, Rusty, with Mark Pilcher from M2 Competition. What a team they've built, and they're in such a run in this championship, I think, looking for their 9th consecutive CT Frot Championship this summer. And they're in the box seat at the moment with Uga Chukwu on top in front of Kanato Lee and Jin Nakamura from High Tech. Word through, the session has been declared. There will be no resumption to competition in qualifying for race number 4 of the weekend, the feature race for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. So that will be it. So it will be a pole position for Freddie Slater in front of Uga Chukwu, who's second, the championship leader. Kanato Lee in third, represents his best qualifying performance of the season so far. So that is an improvement for the high-tech driver. This is all still very much pending a couple of investigations post-qualifying. Jin Nakamura 4th, Louis Sharp 5th, then Schooler and Rover Pera 7th, again backing up what he did in the wet yesterday. Sway in 8th is strong, Rivera and Wood inside the top 10 with Theo McLaughlin next. Then Yvonne David just outside of it, Jack Taylor, Manson, Shipman, Nolan, Alla Baptista and La Tourette rounding out the 18 that are qualified here this weekend. James Wharton not on the grid. He's testing in Europe as the mist descends among the pine trees here at Teratonga at the end of qualifying and the rain starts to fall again. So interesting results in that one. Good rebound for Uga Chukwu after a tough day yesterday, so he starts on the front row for both races scheduled for today, and a personal best for Kanato Lee. So the high-tech drivers continue to be really consistent, really impressive.
Yeah, they certainly are being very, very impressive with obviously the 2N2 competition cars, 1 and 2 at the moment, and behind the high-tech cars. And high-tech, you know, it's a world-renowned racing team, and it is no surprise that we're seeing them up the front, and especially with the drivers that they've got as well. And we're also getting further reports on that incident at turn 1 with the 2 cars off with McLaughlin and Manson, that there was potentially contact on entry into there. So that's under investigation as well. So we'll wait and see how that all unfolds. So again, the Toyota team, they've got their work cut out. There's just so much going on, and they've ended up calling that session a little bit early as well. So it's obviously just tricky, trying conditions for these drivers.
Summerset GT New Zealand about to race, so they're not far away as we look down to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. there is a question mark over Freddie Slater. He was involved in an incident with another car that brought out the red flag, so we're not sure. Regardless, will be awarded the pole position, so first of the season so far for him. Form is something, isn't it, backing up from what he achieved yesterday?
Yeah, for sure, and it's just that confidence as well. And speaking of confidence, you can see just the difference in Calais Rovanpera as well now, just the way he's hustling that car that little bit harder. He knows he can do it, and those are the sort of things, those confidence-building things that really make a difference as a driver for you. As we've got plenty of action in store for Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy, but it's a nice relief for these guys to get a proper qualifying session locked and loaded. And Rusty.
I'm with Kanato Lee from Hi-Tech. Boy, these conditions are trying. They're testing, aren't they? What was that like?
Yeah, obviously it was very wet. First of all, I think the yesterday's race prepared us for the wet condition, and I think we managed to put a decent lap time in before the red flag and the rain started to come. So I think overall it's not too bad.
You did a great job in the preparation that you're talking about. How much of an improvement is that from you, from an awareness perspective of what this track is like when it's wet, and then maybe even what you've changed in the car overnight?
Yeah, I think again yesterday's race helped us with the driving. I think I understand the track more in the wet now, and I just managed to put in a decent lap time in. And yeah, I think for the race 4, should be good starting in P3.
Better than decent. Congratulations, third.
Thank you.
There you go, Kanato Lee. Let's bring Uga Chukwu in second place. Whew. This is tricky, isn't it? How was that?
Yeah, very tricky. Wet conditions again. Good to get an actual quality session this time. Pace was good throughout the whole session. Yeah, shame to be so close to pole, but still P2 puts us in a good position for the final race today.
You have been great at the approach that you bring to this, rain, hail or shine. When you go out in a qualifying session like that, fastest time's the objective, but when you've got conditions like that, how do you play that?
I was just trying to get a good lap every single lap, basically, just in case we get red flags as we saw yesterday. So just making sure every lap was clean without traffic, just so we'll have a safe time at the end.
Solid from a championship point of view too. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
There you go, Uga Chukwu, now our pole sitter. He'll be happy to get that done too, because you literally felt the full gamut of emotions in that session, Freddie Slater, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously not the most optimal session, obviously with the bit of contact, so we need to have a look into that and see what comes of it. But no, the pace has been really strong. You know, in the wet we've had a lot of confidence. Like Ugo was just saying, just getting a lap in was really important. It's not the most optimal lap following people, but you just got to get a lap on the board. So that's what we did, and yeah, very good way to start the day, and look forward to later.
I know you felt a little on the flatter side at times in the earlier rounds. Do you feel like you've clicked up a gear in this championship come Invercargill?
Yeah, I think we've had some bad luck, some mistakes on my side, some things out of our control, but now it's on, so we've just got to keep on racking up the points and keep trying to win as many races as we can and see where we end up next week.
Good on you, well played.
Thank you.
There you go, he is our pole sitter today, and we've got Josh Greenland, the category manager for Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy with us to deliver that all-important memento for P1. Freddie Slater from the UK for M2 competition does the job here in qualifying 2 at Invercargill.
Thank you, Rusty, down in Allied Petroleum Victory Lane as we turn our attention from the open wheelers to the fine GT machinery of the Summerset GT New Zealand Championship. This is race number 2. If you caught our action yesterday, it was a bit of a thriller as Joel Giddy charged his way from 7th on the grid and crossed the line first in the big Mercedes AMG GT2. Unfortunately for Joel Giddy, who did all of that in 30 minutes, he was later penalised post-race, 2 seconds only, but that dropped him from 1st to 3rd position, and that was for a breach of the safety car restart, where he was out of line before the safety car control line. So a tiny little penalty, but the field was so closely bunched, it dropped him down to 3rd position. Rick Armstrong was credited with the win, his 2nd of the season, and moved him to the championship lead as well. As a result as well of that, Sam Fillmore crossed the line in 2nd position. Giddy was 3rd, Nigel Cromie in 4th place in his Porsche. So it's Armstrong and Manson on the front row. So Manson will go from pole position in this one out of qualifying results. Armstrong 2nd, Cromie and Fillmore next. So Joel Giddy, Andrew Wade has got the job to do all over again.
Yeah, he certainly does. But at least he knows, though, that if there's a chance of a safety car, he's got a pretty easy run down into turn 1 to pick them off. And that's obviously where the Porsches excel, is in the around the corners through section from turn 2 all the way up to turn 5 there. So each car's got their pros and cons, and that's what makes this racing so good for us to watch. But these conditions are pretty treacherous out there at the moment as we have a look at the starting grid.
So Manson on top, had a frustrating race yesterday, was running second and chasing Rick Armstrong down. Got a painted white line in the run into turn 7 and ended up stuck in the gravel trap. Armstrong in great form at the moment in the Armstrong's car. Cromie out of 3rd and Fillmore 4th. Then Regan Schooler from 5th. Andrew Child, who's been fast in the 22 car, out of 6th position. Giddy's got the work to do, but watch for the torque and the grunt of that AMG out of 7th, and then James Parker. Lockie Evanet takes over the 635. It's not a BMW, it's a Toyota Supra GT4. He leads the GT4 class. It was Grant Aitken who got the win yesterday. Nice performance in the Audi R8, and Alan Sargent going out of 11th position. So Lockie Evanet is sharing with Glenn Chappell this weekend. So Glenn did race 1, Lockie doing race 2, and then in the 50-minute enduro race later on this afternoon, they share the car with a driver change halfway around.
Safety car lights are out. You can see how weird it is, the shine on the track. These drivers will know it. They've used this warm-up lap to get a bit of an idea of the conditions. There's our 2x2. Toyota GR Super Safety car pulls off into pit lane.
Important to get that run out of the final corner and make sure you're side by side in racing conditions. The rolling start, they'll be 2x2 until they get the green, about 400 metres down the road. Porsches with all the traction, but the Merc's got the straight line speed and will deploy that. Took a couple of laps to get going in yesterday's race in very similar conditions. So keep an eye on Joel Giddy in car number 16, who's on the inside. Away we go. It really is 2x2 here at Teratonga. It's not much wider than that. And the Porsches through the mist will race down towards turn 1. It's Luke Manson this time who gets the lead and will beat Rick Armstrong into that long left-hander. Cromie and Fillmore slide in line astern. Well behaved so far.
Great start by Manson there to go around the outside into the lead of the race. Look at this spray coming off these cars.
Oh, they're really twitchy as well, weren't they, into 2. And then into the right-hander, quick change of direction now. There's a bit of pooled water on the apex of that corner. The red flags in CT Front will not have helped to move away, so the Michelins on the Porsches have got to do the job.
It'll be so easy on the throttle, on the exit of the corners. Yes, these cars are running the traction control as well in ABS, but still, you just got to be so light on your inputs. Luke Manson there, he left himself a little bit of room from the white line on the outside after what happened yesterday. Caught him out, got the white line, and ended up off in the gravel, but easy thing done. Looking to redeem himself today, and so far so good with that race start.
255 kilometres an hour to turn 1 in the dry. They reported that about 10 k's an hour slower in wet conditions before that braking point at turn 1. The mid-corner speed in dry conditions is about 135 k's an hour in 4th gear. Again, it'll be slower than that in the wet, but they're still pushing on and finding the threshold of grip. So it's Manson, Armstrong, Cromie, Fillmore, Schooler, Giddy up 1. He's got in front of Andrew Child. So up to 6th position. But we saw yesterday, it took a couple of laps with the Mercedes to get itself switched on in that race. When it was on, though, the thing was a rocket ship. And as long as it could get a good run out of that final corner, it could deploy all the grunt and horsepower from the turbocharged AMG power and fire down the straight. Armstrong feeling like he needs to defend from Cromie here, and that's brought Fillmore into the mix in this battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. Manson enjoying the clearer conditions out in front. He doesn't have to deal with any spray, and as a result, his leading margin is 1.9 seconds already after 2 laps of racing.
Nigel Cromie coming from a bit of a jet boating background. It's a bit similar to what he's doing today, isn't it? In these wet weather conditions, he's been racing those jet boats. They've got about 1,500 horsepower jet turbine engines and reaching speeds of over 200 kilometres an hour. So he'll be right at home today, shall we say. with the way that these conditions are, and yeah, probably not. He wouldn't agree with me saying those terms. This is completely different, being in a car, the lack of vision, being right up behind another car. You can't see a lot. There's so many different things to think about with the puddles, where the other cars are around you, and making sure you're hitting your marks.
Call it 500 horsepower. Cup car probably feels like 1,500 in these conditions, though. And the spray, well, he's used to that as well. He's been driving really well. He grabbed a pair of fifths and a win race one at Hampton Downs. As a result, is third in the Porsche Endurance Trophy and was fourth in Summerset GT New Zealand coming into the weekend. So a really strong start to his season.
Also, previous GT4 champion as well as Nigel Cromie. Won it in 2022 in his first season of racing in a McLaren 570S GT4. So it's obviously making the switch for him. He's someone who's just loves his racing, and a great guy to have out there being part of it. A super respectful driver as well. You know, wants to race hard, wants to race fair, but you know, fits in nicely with this bunch of drivers who are very competitive, but also, as I say, they're all respectful. They you know, want to make the most out of it, but also come home cleanly.
Just heard from Nathan Pilcher, who's the motorsport coordinator for Porsche New Zealand, and he who distributes the spare parts if they're required as well from the race support truck down in the paddock here at Teretonga and at all of the rounds. It'll make the trip up to Highlands for the New Zealand Grand Prix in a week's time. Just reporting that everyone's on a brand new set of green Michelin tyres except Rick Armstrong, who has elected to run a used set of wets. What's the difference? What will be the difference for Rick Armstrong relative to those around him?
So with that, what I would expect to see as this race goes on is Rick's car will actually get better, because the problem with it is Nathan Pilcher, who's a sleuth in the background, getting all the information for us. He's certainly been around, heavily involved with the Porsche side of things with this championship. But back to the tyres. So with Rick, because he's on the older set of tyres, his car should be actually better. So I reverse what I said before. So his car should be better on the older set. The newer tyres, in theory, shouldn't be as good off the line, because they've got the release mold, as we call it, where the tyre's brand new. It's like a silicon layer on the tyres. It takes a while to get it going. So that's generally the reason why you would opt for a tyre that's already been previously used, because it's better straight off the mark, but doesn't seem to be doing the job for Rick at the moment.
Luke Manson, that margin's just stabilised at 2.8. And the last time by Rick Armstrong quicker for the first time. There's some overtaking going back, and Joel Giddy came out of the final corner very close to Regan Schooler. So the Mercedes may be starting to flex its formidable muscle as the championship leader coming into the weekend looks to progress forward. That's the leader. Then second, third and fourth place. Schooler's held on at the moment in the 999, but a couple little battle packs, because just behind that, James Parker and Andrew Child are having a good battle for 7th and 8th position as well.
These conditions are just so hard as a driver. You are on absolute edge the whole race. You're just waiting for something to the rear to snap, or a puddle that you might hit to upset your braking. There's just so much as a driver. You're just so heavily focused that by the time you finish one of these races, you are just mentally fried. Because you're just at maximum operating capacity mentally as you're driving around, trying to take in all the information, where you're going to place the car, what's going on. And like in Joel's situation here, he's not got a lot of vision, but at this stage he does, because he goes up the inside of Regan Schooler to take another position. So just like yesterday, we saw Joel Giddy get better and better as the race goes on, and so far seems to be proving exactly that.
Nice pass executed in a straight line, and was well clear before he got to that turn-in point to turn one. Rick Armstrong, fastest lap of the race again, just by a tenth though, so that margin 2.5. They found something in the big merge between seasons. Joel was super fast in last season's Summerset GT New Zealand Championship, but it quite often in dry conditions especially would knock the tyre off the car mid-race, and it would struggle with degradation. It's a heavy car. It's got a lot of weight, a lot of mass, and a lot of torque as well, so it doesn't look after its tyres as well as the Porsche GT3 Cup car. So they struggled a little bit in race conditions over the distance, didn't they? But they've developed it over the off-season, and it is definitely a better package and a better race package over a distance. We saw that at round one at Hampton Downs. As combative as that weekend was, with everyone boxing on with everyone else, that car was an improved package. So looking forward to seeing how they continue that, the JG Civil team and Mach 1 Engineering over this summer.
Yeah, Mach 1 Engineering doing a lot of work to improve that car with Joel and engineer as well, Kane Barry, who's been around for a long time, very experienced engineer, knows these cars inside out now. He's done so much work with them, and you know, big history as well with other types of cars. So very, just another clever engineer that's within this field. As there's so much that goes on in the background with all these teams to get these cars as fast as they possibly can, as we see on screen at the moment. James Parker, so he's returning to the championship after missing round 1, and nearly made the podium here last year as he was finding his form. So these conditions seem to be not suiting him quite as well in that IRC car.
It's got Daniel Gillison on the tools as well this weekend, former racer, Kiwi now based on the Gold Coast, works with Porsche Carrera Cup teams and is heavily involved in the IRC program in Australia. That category, a standalone category now, going from strength to strength, and a couple of new models coming on board. Also saw Rob Hackwood, the racer, in the paddock, linked up with the Mackenzie Motorsport boys and girls that are looking after this car on Friday. So a lot of trans-Tasman information exchange going on. Just a reminder, Lockie Evanet leads the way in GT4, a little bit further back. Ryan Aitken is second, continuing a very strong weekend, and Alan Sargent third, comprised of that battle, but Evanet's got quite a handy lead over Aitken and Sargent. Appropriate sponsorship, the Tempur-Therm thermal and acoustic insulation on the side of the IRC GT Camaro body shape, Ford Mustang body shape, and one they call a Euro GT, which is rather cool. Danny Studdert and his son James and the team at IRC doing great things. Corey watches on from pit lane. 20 minutes to go in this one. Manson just responded last time around as well with a very good lap time to get that margin back to 2.6 seconds.
A great car, these IRC cars, 550 horsepower, the 6.2 litre V8 engine. They're just a lot of fun to drive.
You've had a steer?
I have. I've been lucky enough to have a go on one, and I tell you what, it's certainly an impressive car, just the way that they handle, the way that they drive, and they're just a raw car. Yes, I've got all the modern technology in them as well, but you just get so much feel as you drive them. It's they're just a great car, and you can see why they're being selected to be running this championship. Is Grant Aiken on screen there in the Audi R8 GT4 car. He's certainly having a great weekend. He's obviously behind Lachlan Evelyn at the moment. Lachlan obviously very experienced in these cars now, and Grant Aiken is certainly a fantastic competitor to have. Besides down in Cromwell, Central Otago region, and does a lot of laps around. Highlands Motorsport Park was instrumental in the initial phase of Highlands Motorsport Park, being one of the original 4 that had the vision, had the idea of it before Tony Quinn got involved and took it over and built it up to what it is now. So yeah, Grant's a great guy to have involved, not only in this category but in Motorsport New Zealand.
Well, and I love the fact, and your points are outstanding as always, but I love the fact that still tows the car himself to the racetrack, no problems, just runs the thing on his own. It's great. I understand he's going to run the Porsche next weekend, I think. So he's got the Cayman 718 GT4 car that he'll run at Highlands for the NAPA 70th New Zealand Grand Prix, where Summerset GT New Zealand will be a big part of that program. A bit of cool news coming out too, by the way, from a broadcast side for GT New Zealand next week. Just going to tease that. Keep your eyes peeled on the socials. Might be a little Daytona 24-hour link, and good luck to all of the competitors running over there in the Rolex at the moment. Big race, Daytona International Speedway. See one car out before the 1 hour mark, which is always pretty galling in a 24-hour race.
Yes, it certainly is. It's a big old race at Daytona 24-hour in the IMSA Championship. It's actually hard to watch it, to be fair, after getting a little run in it last year, the IMSA.
frustrated racing car driver sitting to my right up here in our
as I watch my favourite
box.
cars on track as well, these GT cars. But and back to your point as well about Grant Aiken towing his car to the racetrack, his GT4 car. That's just GT4 cars to a T. The way that these cars operate, they're not highly strung. You can use them and park them up, pull them out of the shed next race. They're just a very a more simple car, should I say, to run than you know, faster, bigger cars like the Cup cars and GT3 cars as well. So that's the idea behind them, to be that stepping stone. And they're a very compliant car, great car to drive as well. They look after you as a driver. They're super easy. The operating window is much bigger. I shouldn't say they're easy to drive. They're not at all to extract the most pace out of them. But they're just, as I say, more compliant. They're more driver friendly. The aids work really well in terms of ABS, traction control, and they're just a lot of fun.
We're just looking at Lockie Evanet, the young Aussie who's been racing Formula Ford and TA2 and Trans Am over there, and now looking to broaden his horizons a little bit in GT racing as well. Been quite good in the TA2 cars, Trans Am competition in Australia, linked up with Gary Rogers Motorsport, GRM. And with BF Racing in the Australian Formula Ford Championship, so I'm sure he's been on the fence watching the NAPA New Zealand Formula Ford Championship, probably with a little bit of envy, I would imagine, though he'll be enjoying having a roof over his head in these conditions. But cool to see him pair up this weekend and have an opportunity to drive this car with Glenn Chappell, and they'll share it. They were rolling the strategy yesterday about how they actually play that race out, because they will have a little bit of pit stop penalty time, assuming he gets the win in this race going into the final race. So their pit stop will have to be a little bit longer. And they were debating as to whether you start Lockie and get him to build the margin at the start, or whether you finish him and he can chase them down, basically, at the end of the race. So that's something these teams will have to discuss before the long race later on this afternoon.
And generally in that situation, do you put your better driver in at the start or the end? The general traditional way that you do see it is the better driver does go in at the end of the race due to safety cars and things, because it's no point in the slower driver, or the gentleman driver, should I say, to go out at the end of the race if the faster driver's made a huge gap, and then the safety car just keeps closing that gap up, and then you put the gentleman driver in at the end, and all of a sudden all that gap that the better driver, the fast driver, can make all gets closed up again. So it's the risk that you've got to take. So it's certainly worthwhile thinking about, especially with these conditions as well. There is a higher chance of a safety car at some point.
The rain falls and it is getting wetter at the moment. Lap times have dropped off almost 1.5 seconds per lap at the moment. So Manson by 2.3. Best lap of the race is a 63.1. Last time by 64.9. They did have some traffic to deal with in the form of Grant Aiken, and that's what these two Porsches have got to now as they run down into turn 7. So Sam Fillmore's caught Nigel Cromie, and he's just going to get down the inside at turn 7 and clear the Audi R8, who splashes through the puddle on driver's right on the exit of turn 7. So this is for a spot on the podium in race number 2 of Summerset GT New Zealand. Fillmore lights ablaze in the Alliance Services Porsche is charging.
Just looking at the lap times as well, last lap, Luke Manson went purple, which means it's his fastest lap of the race so far. Well, the fastest lap of the race so far. So Manson still controlling the lead, but then the next time they also went over the line, it was pretty even between the two of them. So Luke hasn't got it easy just yet. It's only just a 2-second lead, especially in these conditions. We know how fast it can change.
It's one of those pressure cooker, it's not one-make Porsche racing, but it is at the front with the GT3 Cup cars, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Got a lot of one-make Porsche racing over the years, and it's one of those pressure races where they're 2 seconds apart and they stay there from start to finish, and it's about who blinks first, who makes the mistake, or who can find a little bit of a gain and close in between the two of them. But they're very evenly matched. And for drivers who do this for fun, they're not professional racing car drivers. I'm going to use the cliche, but they are operating at quite a high level of professionalism and performance at the front of this field.
it's certainly you know, and that goes back to that term as well. They are known as gentlemen drivers. The word amateur driver gets thrown around, but I hate that word for these guys because they are not amateurs at all at the level that they drive at. They've done a lot of racing and are very, very quick with how they do drive. So it's certainly something to, they apply themselves a lot as well. They do a lot of testing, and that's where the competitive element comes into it as well. Naturally, you sort of go, oh, no, we'll just turn up for a race weekend, and you see one of your competitors test, or you know you were nearly there last year, and you just sort of get roped in, all right, yeah, we better do some testing to just step it up another notch. So that's exactly what these guys do. As this battle continues on between Nigel Cromie and Sam Fillmore. Nigel, just as we've seen, just the rate of improvement that he has had so far. Brand new into the 992 car this year for the championship, and he's certainly doing a fantastic job in it.
That was the first lap in the race, though, where he felt like he needed to defend at turn 7. So he put the car in the middle of the road. It wasn't a full block, but he was compromised going into the corner. And we've seen over the weekend here at Teratonga, if you do that too often, it really can compromise your run onto this long start-finish straight. So he needs to be careful with that, because Sam Fillmore's been around long enough to know all the tricks of the trade at this part of the world. 3rd and 4th place, Manson by 2.2. Again, they're just going punch for punch out in front. Really impressive between the two leaders, Manson and Armstrong. And there'll be a little point to make here for Luke, won't they, after that mistake yesterday. Got the painted white line, the braking zone into turn 7, spun the car off. It was one of those 1%ers that unfortunately was 100% of damage to his race. So he'll be looking for a little bit of revenge, and if he can get there, it'll be particularly sweet. Driver sticking to the dry line on the inside of turn 1. Joel Giddy got to 5th, and that is where he has stayed. 3.9 seconds behind this battle pack. So it was 5 when he got past Regan Schooler. So he's taking a little bit of time out, and he'll be hoping these two continue to punch on. That gentleman there at exit turn 2, absolutely cheering on. That's the shot we saw earlier. They've got the campfire going under the awning, which is fine.
That'll do.
And they've been enjoying some beverages, and they've got a brilliant setup. They've got the bus over there as well, and cheering every car as they go past. Absolutely love it. Fillmore just gets the nose, has a half a look. Cromie feeling a little bit vulnerable at the moment. Under 10 minutes to go, race 2 of Summerset GT New Zealand.
And it is just so hard to pass around this track, especially in evenly matched cars like these two. This Cromie there doesn't need to cover his line. He's stuck to the right-hand side. We actually seen Joel Giddy just do the fastest lap for him in this race. So he's pulled in another half a second on that lap there. So the rate that he's going and closing this gap, he will get onto the back of these guys, and he'll know that too. He doesn't need word from his engineers. He can physically see the gap.
Well, we'll get the Jaws soundtrack queued up if that's the case, because if he gets to the back of them, he will drive past them in a straight line.
Yeah, it's so the horsepower difference, and especially because as well for Sam Fillmore, it becomes really, really difficult for him because he's stuck in behind Cromie as well, that it just makes it really, really tough. So Sam will see that as well. He'll be egged on by his engineer as well down in pit lane, Aaron Harris, who's worked alongside Sam Fillmore for quite a long time now. I've been lucky enough to work with Aaron Harris as well. He's another one who's a very clever engineer and does a lot in Australia on 992 Cup cars, as well as the Sprint Championship as well, and GT3 cars. So he's done a lot. So to have someone like him in your team is certainly a great thing. But at the same time, there's only so much Aaron can tell him. Tell Sam there, Sam, you need to get on with this. You have Joel closing up in the GT2 car.
Yeah, Giddy visibly closing now in another 5/10 last time around. 64.3 for Fillmore, plays a 63.9 for Giddy. So there's the Merc back of shot. 7 minutes, there's plenty of time for Joel to get himself onto the podium here. Cromie again defends. just shuts the door for any launch down the inside. We saw a couple send it there yesterday, and if you can get side by side on the exit of turn 7, it then becomes a drag race all the way down this 840 metre long front straight. A bit of side draft perhaps can play into the equation as well. But despite the fact that he's turning in a little bit shallow, Cromie's getting really good drive out of the final corner, and he pulls a couple of car lengths by the time they get to the start-finish line. So there's nothing wrong with the power down in car 33 at the moment, and all Sam Fillmore can do is keep that pressure on.
And that'll be frustrating as well for Sam Fillmore, because he'll be able to see the difference on the exit of the last corner, which is the best possible passing opportunity. But Sam, he's not scared to throw a move on, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him have a go on the next lap or two. But there is no stopping. And there's Aaron Harris on the radio. He'll be getting a little stressed, wanting Sam to get on with it, get that move done. And Aaron's been around long enough. He's done a lot of racing himself, so he knows it's one thing to say get the move done versus actually getting it done.
2 leaders remain less than 3 seconds apart. It has been that way all race. It's ebbed and flowed. Cromie across the line. 64.7, 64.6, 64.2 for Joel Giddy. Another half a second taken out of these two. He's going to get to the back of them with a couple of minutes left in this race. And he will see this opportunity brewing. What is yet to come for the JG Civil Mercedes AMG GT2. It's a strange car to watch this, because if you're accustomed to GT3 racing, the big AMG thunders past you. It's like an earthquake. This thing's quite quiet. It runs the turbocharged Mercedes AMG engine rather than the normally aspirated car that the GT3 car runs. Similar platform, not as much aero as the GT3 car. GT2 is more sort of standard road car based car. We're hearing from race control that they're about to start the final lap, so time actually may run out for Joel Giddy, and it may run out as well for Sam Fillmore, who's got 2.5 Ks to try and find his way past Nigel Cromie and get onto the podium. It's the best run he's had.
Oh, Sam has a little bit of a look. This is his best opportunity from the exit of turn 1 here down towards turn 5. Where is he going to have a go? He's been quick from the exit of turn 2 as well. Very, very hard to make a pass through this part of the track because it's fast, it's flowing. You've got to use both sides of track, so you've got to really commit early.
Oh, it'll be so frustrating for Joel Giddy because he was going to get to them, but he'll run out of time. So too will Rick Armstrong to get a second win. What a superb reply this has been for Luke Manson, bouncing back from disappointment yesterday. A brilliant drive in challenging conditions. He'll win race 2 at Teratonga. Well done, Luke Manson. And here's this fight. It'll take a great run out of the final corner, which Sam Fillmore's got. They're going to be pretty close when they get to the line here. He won't quite make it, though. And Nigel Cromie holds on just by 1/10 of a second to get 3rd position in front of Sam Fillmore. And Joel Giddy got within a second as they crossed the line. Good battle. It's a 1-2 for IMS. Nigel Cromie in 3rd, breaking up their trio and holding out Sam Fillmore. Joel Giddy in 5th place will be frustrated that he didn't quite have enough time to get there in the end, but he was motoring down half a second a lap faster than the 2 Porsches. Regan Schooler in 6th position, James Parker 7th. Lockie Everett got the win in the GT4 class in front of Grant Aitken. Good stuff, good battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th in particular in that one, but what a response for Luke Manson after yesterday.
Certainly was, to be able to pull that off, and convincingly as well. Got into the lead of that race and just hold it mistake-free. And that battle as well between Nigel Cromie and Sam Fillmore, that was certainly brewing with Joel Giddy in behind.
Alan Sargent, 3rd place in what is an emotional weekend for the Toyota Supra driver. Highlights, Summerset GT New Zealand Championship. Crashing into the rev limiter on the run down into turn 1, Luke Manson committed up the inside and got the lead early, and that is where he would stay in a pressure cooker motor race. We thought we'd see a little bit more more of this. Joel Giddy, it took a while for the JG Civil Merc to get up to speed in this. He got past Regan Schooler and got to 5th place. While these two just ebbed and flowed, it ended up 3.1 seconds. It was never much bigger than that.
It did not change, and you can see him behind there, Joel Giddy starting to close up. Sam Fillmore flashing the lights. Seeing that AMG Mercedes closing in behind, but time did run out. But Luke Manson, he could have kept going round and round all day long, being nice and comfortable in that car. Sam Fillmore had a little bit of a look on the run to the checkered flag, but it wasn't quite enough.
Good racing in the Summerset GT New Zealand Championship. They have a 50-minute mini enduro coming later on this afternoon, and there'll be a mandatory pit stop in that one as well. And there'll be some success time applied to those that have had wins early. So it might just throw some more varied results up, and it's another 25 minutes for Joel Giddy to motor past some cars as well. Congratulations from the IMS team down in Allied Petroleum Victory Lane for Luke Manson. And he'll have just enough time to get to pit lane to watch his 14-year-old son Marco race in the NAPA New Zealand Formula 4 Championship, which is coming up next. But before it, let's hear from Luke. A brilliant win in Summerset GT New Zealand, and he's going to go and chat to Rihanna Crean.
As we welcome our winners for the Summerset GT New Zealand second race of the weekend in the open class. Congratulations to Luke Manson. It's been an incredibly busy weekend for your family, but you got the job done. Nice way to recover after yesterday.
Yeah, thank you very much. It has been a very busy weekend for the Manson family out at the racetrack. We've all had an absolute ball. Weather's definitely made it a little tricky, but we're all having some fun. So
I'm glad you enjoyed that one. I'm no doubt desperate to go watch your son out in this next race. And we welcome Rick Armstrong, who was second for that race. Congratulations, Rick, once again here in Allied Petroleum Victory Lane. Tough conditions all weekend long. How much did you enjoy that one out there?
It was good. Started off second, finished second. Good result. I'm happy with that. It was really slippery, so just battled the whole way. We just managed to get away, which was good. It was pretty clean. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you later on this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you later on for the final race of the weekend. And of course, Nigel Cromley. Congratulations, Nigel. Just tell us how difficult those conditions are out there. How slippery is the track?
Yeah, I actually struggled more towards the end of the race as it dried up. I was really liking the heavy rain at the start, but Sam was all over me at the end there, so I'm lucky to be here. I'm happy to be here.
We love that you've got a big smile on your face. We look forward to seeing you for the final race of the weekend. And for our GT4 class, congratulations, Lachlan Everett. Well done, mate. Excellent job out there.
Thank you very much. I had a great time just learning in the tricky conditions down here in Teratonga. So, yeah, last year has been a bit wet, but yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. And I'd like to thank the team. They've been amazing this weekend, and yeah, it's having a lot of fun.
We love that you're having fun. And second place on the podium, we've got Grant Aiken. Grant, we love having you. You love being here. What a battle to the end there.
Well, not much of a battle for me. You can't beat youth, eh? Youth is on its side. But anyway, just happy to finish and stay on the island and enjoy it for another day. Yeah.
Well, we loved it. Alan Sargent rounding out our podium for our GT4 class. Wasn't the day for you yesterday, but you got it done here today. Well done.
I think I'll just make sure I didn't spin today, and just survival. So I just want to say thanks to the NextGen team. The boys in the broadcasting do a great job, Tunners and the crew. So I just want to say thanks to them for what they do. So
we love the beautiful words. Thank you so much, Alan. Enjoy the final race of the weekend here.
As the action continues here at Teretonga Park Raceway at the Repco NextGen New Zealand Championship, the NAPA New Zealand Formula 4 Championship coming up next. Andrew Wade alongside Ronan Murphy. I'll tell you what, the racing yesterday in the Formula 4s was action-packed as always, and it was Seb Eskandari who did take the win for race number 1, Ronan.
Yeah, he did a brilliant job, stayed out of trouble, very wise head on young shoulders. He did a great job to come home with the victory there for the Racing Projects team run by Nigel Barclay. And going into this one though, it's going to be the same grid as we saw it from qualifying. It's based on fastest lap time. So Marco Manson with a 1:13.6 yesterday in qual. He would be off the pole position with Seb Eskandari beside him there on the front row.
He will certainly be wanting to back it up with this race after coming off the track yesterday. Young Marco Manson, as we can see, starting out of that pole position. Seb Eskandari starting out position number 2. Dylan Petch out of position number 3, putting all sorts of pressure on in the race yesterday. Jacob Begg in position number 4. Campbell Owens position number 5, and Isaac Fletcher, he'll be starting out of 6th place. And Toby Musico, he had a few issues yesterday, didn't he? Running off the track a couple of times. And Toby McCormack, not got the pace that we would otherwise usually see out of him. And William Beck as well, starting out of P11, new to the championship, new to racing. He's doing a fantastic job as well. Let's see if we can make it a back-to-back Manson race win in this one. Obviously, Dad earlier, Luke Manson just won the Summerset GT New Zealand race just before this one, and then off the pole position. The start is absolutely crucial, isn't it, Ronan?
It certainly is, and really cool to see probably two of the youngest guys, if not the youngest guys, and probably even racing this weekend on the front row of the grid. So cool to see Marco Manson and Sev Eskandari there taking the front of the grid. Both in different cars, one's in a Spectrum, one's in a Megale, so it's great to see a variety of different race cars as we've touched on in the Formula Ford category this week. And we've actually got 4 different makes of cars in the top 4 on this grid, so that's great to see.
You can see Tasman Motorsport Group on the side of these cars as well. Steve Horn being instrumental in helping get these cars down to the South Island for this event. Steve Horn, he's got a very, very rich history in motorsport in New Zealand. As we hear the RPM raise and we get ready for a race start. And race number 2 for Formula Ford. Another average start there for Seb Manson going backwards. And Eskandari again into the lead of the race.
He just can't seem to get it going, that first initial phase. He's really struggling. We can see there, looking out the combox window, just a ton of wheel spin for Manson, whereas Eskandari managed to sort of get the car slipped a bit, get it going, and then find that second gear. As we see there, Manson already
around the outside.
Oh, Musico again. He's back in the gravel trap. He's not happy. Same mistake, same off in 2 days. That's not ideal for him.
You can
Very
tell
disappointed.
how frustrated he is with that. It's a bit of an unfortunate copy-paste from what we've seen him yesterday as well. But yeah, he is furious. And I think with that extra animation, maybe there was another car involved as well.
That car is deep in the gravel trap as well. The side pod's all filled up with dirt. That'll be a bit of a recovery down there for the marshals. Young Toby there, he's absolutely gutted. Never nice to see, but it's also how you learn, isn't it, Andrew? Things in events like this.
It is. It certainly is. And obviously we don't know the background of how he ended up in there, whether there was contact or not. We'll dig deep into that one and figure out exactly what's going on. But no matter which way you look at it, you can really sense a frustration from him there.
Yeah, he's really not happy. But obviously the car looks to be in one piece, so it'll just be a case of getting it out of the gravel trap. It'll need probably a big clean out and maybe be taken apart a bit to get some gravel out of places it shouldn't be. But I'm sure we'll see him for the race later on the Savo.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be the frustrating part for him as well, as he knows that obviously overnight they would have had to do the same thing yesterday, getting all the gravel and everything out of the car, and it can be a bit of a major job as well. It's not a matter of just sweeping it out. You need to take the seat out, the side pods off, and then use the vacuum to get as much of it as you possibly can out.
And see how much it means to these young drivers. Toby Musico there, he's quite clearly gutted, quite dejected, as we see here. He's got a car up the inside of him. Oh, and it was contact again. I think that might have been Campbell Owens in the 23 car, the Spectrum, one of our podium finishers from yesterday. I think, unfortunately, he's gotten into the side of Toby there, and we've seen that happen in just about all categories so far today, Andrew. Cars trying to go 2, even 3 wide around that southern loop, and you get a bit of understeer from the surface there, and then all of a sudden you're into the car beside you.
Yeah, and then once that understeer happens and you start heading towards the car that you're next to, you naturally either go for the brake or turn harder, and that's actually a negative effect, isn't it?
Because makes it worse.
It actually makes it worse, but you know, it's all well and good saying that it's going to make it worse, but when you're in the moment, it's the first reaction. I'm heading towards a car, I either need the brake or need a steering. Oh, I might be heading up there for a burger at lunch.
I was just about to say, I think that might actually be the best thing for Toby Musico. Maybe he needs to head over there and grab a burger on his way back. It's never nice, and not nice to see these young guys. You know, they all work so hard and try so hard to, you know, it's such a big journey to come down here, and to end up in the gravel trap's never a nice thing.
No, it is certainly not. And we see them there getting their tyres up to temperature. These tyres on these cars, they are a dot-rated type of tyre, so they can be used in both dry conditions and wet conditions. So it makes it really tough for these drivers in these wetter conditions. These cars move around a lot. There's Jacob Begg there sitting in third place at the moment. He's local hero, done a lot of racing here over the years, and looking to make a big impact this weekend at the first round of the National Championship.
Absolutely, we see some of the lads there from Motorsport New Zealand down there having a bite to eat. Can head on down inside the pits there, everyone, and get some great food down there from the team here at Teratonga. It's certainly on a day like this when it's cold, not a bad thing to go and grab some hot chips or a pizza or something along those lines. Some more race fans, awesome to see. Shout out to everyone that's here, come out and made their way out to Teretonga Park today. It's even in days like this, it's so cool when everyone makes their way out to come and watch some awesome car racing, the highest level of New Zealand motorsport here at the Repco NextGen New Zealand Championship.
And so no surprise that incident has been put under investigation by Motorsport New Zealand. They'll take a look at it after the race and make sure they've got all the facts, all the details that they can possibly have to make sure that they make the right decision.
Yeah, we see there Toby walking in front of his car there. He's still got dirt and gravel falling out, coming out of the side pods there. So it's going to be, as you said, a fair bit of a job to strip the car down, get all the dirt and rocks and gravel out of it, and put it back together in time for race 3 this afternoon. But we see there William Beck. That's quite a cool livery on that Formula Ford, sort of reminiscent of the John Player Special, the Lotuses from back in the day. Very, very famous Formula 1 cars and Formula 1 team back in the 1960s and 70s. So you see there,
great young guy, William. He's new into motorsport, and but he's just loving the challenge of improving and getting better. He's been doing a bit of testing lately, getting up to speed, and there's no better way to keep improving than being here, being part of the racing, and loves his engineering side of things as well. So knows these cars inside out, which is certainly a positive thing. As you go up through the ranks, you understand how the car operates, what actually goes on, gives you a bit more mechanical sympathy, and you know, it's one of those things that a lot of the best drivers in the world are actually very, very good mechanics and very, very good engineers, as they understand exactly what is going on underneath them.
Absolutely, and we see some younger race fans down there, some young guys along the fence there. Great to see. As we see all the cars coming around that. Look at the spray coming off those tyres. There's still a lot of water down there, Andrew, and maybe that was part of why we've seen some cars get a bit unsettled throughout the morning so far. But as we see there, Seb Eskandari, he's going to lead us away when the safety car restart happens. As we see now, the safety car lights have gone out, so we won't be too far away from a race restart. Led by Eskandari, he's got Marco Manson, the pole sitter, who's been the form car all weekend pace-wise there in second. And Jacob Begg, he's his home race, only from just up the road in Winton. It's home round here at Teratonga, so he'll be looking for a good result too.
Seb Eskandari is in the front of this race. He will be leading the cars around the last corner as we see the Toyota GR Super Safety car make its way into pit lane. See Eskandari there, he's looking in his mirrors, looking left, looking right. Everyone needs to stay in a single file, line astern, no more warming tyres. Sorry, Marco Manson behind, he'll be doing all he can to get the best possible start as well. Jacob Begg in behind. He left it very late to get going, but now that he has, he's got Marco Manson on the outside of him, coming up the front straight. They're going to go too wide across the start-finish line. Jacob Begg's getting a slipstream off this as well. He's going to go around the outside. Marco Manson into the lead of the race, late braking, takes the lead, a little bit wide on exit, keeps it on track, look at the wider line that they're running. They're finding the grip on the outside there.
Campbell Owens went round the outside of Isaac Fletcher, as did Dylan Petch, so Fletcher's lost 2 spots in the span of 1 corner on this restart right there.
What a restart there by Marco Manson to get into the lead of this race. He's making his way sideways through turn 3 there. It's a fun part of the track. Around here, as you can see again, he's sideways. He's just hustling that car. And he gets a bit of understeer through turn 5 there. Back on the throttle is Iskandari in behind. He will not be wanting to let Marco Manson get away here.
He had that car dancing on the teetering edge, did Marco Manson. He gets it braked and stopped, turned on that 90-degree final corner and straight on back onto the front straight. They put the horsepower down, all 115 horsepower of these Formula Fords, NAPA New Zealand Formula Fords, up the front straight. Iskandari's now under pressure from Jacob Begg, who's got a bit of a slipstream there in his Ray, trying to do the same move, not quite far enough up as what Marco Manson was on that previous lap. Marco Manson on that opening lap of 1 minute 13.6, he is into it.
That is a massive gap, 1.3 seconds to pull in 1 lap. That's how far ahead of the field he did qualify. Jacob Begg in behind as well. If anyone's going to know the fastest way around this track in the wet, it is Jacob Begg. He's done a lot of laps around here. The local driver, Dylan Peach as well, done a lot of laps around this track too. Sitting in behind Campbell Owens.
You see there, Owens, Petch is now all over the back of him, so they both managed to clear Isaac Fletcher on that previous lap as we saw. William Beck's got a 5-second penalty.
Safety car restart. So he's broken the rules on the safety car restart procedure. There's a lot as a driver you need to know to make sure you apply all the rules that you possibly can. And so there's Dylan Petch has a look up the inside of Owens. It's going to be a drag race for these guys down the main straight. Dylan Petch didn't quite get the exit he would have otherwise liked.
Running narrow off that final corner there, just didn't quite have the run, but now he's going to be in the slipstream behind Owens. He's actually lost a little bit of time, just maybe couldn't quite get the power down like he wanted to. So you see there, the battle's still going on between Iskandari, Jacob Begg. Oh, we've got a car there, Olivia Lorenzen, she's turned it around. That was going, I think, back down towards the final corner there.
Yeah, with that curve on the outside, that's where it is, an easy spot to lose it out of there.
Manson.
Just sort of heard something in the background there. Maybe there's a car off the road. As we're keeping an eye on Iskandari here.
It was Marco Manson, so he's gone off the road. That's him there at the bottom of the picture there. So he's gone off all by himself at the lead there, down at turn 2. And that lead's now gone back to Iskandari, just as it did yesterday.
Oh, I just heard something as when on their way into turn 2, sounded like a car going over the top of the gravel. So that was obviously Marco Manson. So he's got his work cut out again in this one. As Sam Iskandari goes into the lead of the race. Jacob Begg in second. Campbell Owens under all sorts of pressure from Dylan Petch as well.
This is just going to be killing Marco Manson's championship charge. He's now gone out of the lead twice in 2 days, leading comfortably as well, and unfortunately just made a mistake, and it's cost him the race lead and possibly the race win. Iskandari's now got a lead just under a second over the rest of the field. Coming down towards turn 2 they come. That's elevated Jacob Begg up into second. Campbell Owens now into third and Dylan Petch into fourth.
So let's just have another look at this replay as we go on towards turn 2. So this is where...
yep, you can see him there.
Off to the left-hand side of the screen, so he's done a great job not to get it buried in the gravel again. Got a bit of experience with that yesterday. Similar sort of thing in turn 1 where he went all the way through the gravel trap and out the other side. But huge frustration there for Marco Manson.
As we've discussed, he's a budding young racer as Marco Manson. Incredibly fast, but I'm sure he'll take that as a learning experience for going forward into the future. Just maybe a little bit hot into turn 2 there, and unfortunately it's cost him the race lead.
If there's one positive out of it, it's easier to slow a driver down than speed a driver up. So he's certainly got plenty of talent, plenty of speed, and it's all part of the learning process.
So we see there Campbell Owens running quite wide there into 1, maybe went in a little bit hot, and that's given Dylan Petch a bit of an incentive to try and have a sniff at the back of the Spectrum 015 there, going down towards turn 2. Isaac Fletcher's in behind Dylan Petch now. He's starting to close in on them as well. It's giving him a bit of a look towards the 4th position. As we see there, Eskandari still leading Jacob Begg, and Jacob Begg's having a great race. He's got plenty of speed. He was actually faster than Eskandari on that last lap, so he's hunting a race win as well here at his home race. Isaac Fletcher there in the 35 car, and another Ray. He's running in 6th currently. Marco Manson on the last lap did a 1 minute 12.4. That's faster than what he qualified
It's
at.
nearly 2 seconds quicker than anyone else on that last lap. Marco Manson on an absolute charge as Lorenzen there. She pulls over to the side of the track to let everyone go through.
Coming up the straight now. And that's Marco Manson there. So he's not too far behind the rest of the pack. And if he continues with the speed he's got, he's just done a 1 minute 12.6. So he's still 1.3 seconds faster than anyone else on the racetrack right now. If he can manage to, that's tight there. He's trying to go around the outside of Maxim Kerwin. So he's managed to pass Matthew Basso, and now they go around Lorenzen. Marco Manson, he just needs to stay patient here, not make any mistakes. He's now up right up at the back of Kerwin.
He gave him a little tap on the back of the gearbox there. He is in a hurry, wants to make up as many positions as he can.
He goes now round the outside. That's brave. Round the outside of Kerwin, not quite. He certainly likes to explore, does Marco Manson. He's all over the racetrack, finding different lines. They're a bit unconventional, but they're working for him as he now again tries to go to the outside. Not quite.
He's going to try the switchback. He's going to be able to get on the power early enough to have the drag race down the main straight. Marco Manson on Kerwin, up the inside. He's going to get the move done. He'll have the inside line for turn 1.
He's still got just under 4.5 minutes as well to try and catch the rest of the pack. He's now got 5 cars ahead of him as he ran really wide there.
It's just watching Marco there on the way into turn 1, oversteer on entry. That moment that we've seen so many cars have all weekend long. Keeps it on the road. He is hustling that car, trying to catch that leading pack again.
He's keeping us on the edge of our seats as Marco Manson as he goes through turn 3, up through turn 4 there, through the staircase, up towards the back part of the circuit. And he's now got Isaac Fletcher in his sights as he's sliding the thing all over the racetrack. And this is what Formula Ford's all about, is teaching that car control, how a car works when it slides. That curb there probably didn't help him. Heard all the revs build up as it wheel spun. Coming down towards the last corner there, he's made some inroads. He's managed to just get away and displace away from Maxim Kerwin as they go up the front straight now for another lap. Manson puts the power down on the 69 car, the Manson's TCLM limited car, up the front straight, past the start finish line, and he's just done another 1 minute 12, so he's still just over a second faster than anyone else on the racetrack currently.
Once again, makes his way into turn 1. A little bit more control this time, running the high line around the outside of turn 1. It's the longer way around, but it's the faster way around. There's a battle for T2, continues on. Iskandari is still leading the race. Just enough of a margin where he can drive his race line, not need to defend his position too much. Jacob Begg now under a bit more pressure from behind from Owens and Petch.
Still a great battle going on there, and Campbell Owens and Dylan Petch and Isaac Fletcher have actually caught up to the back of Jacob Begg, so that gap between Eskandari and Begg has actually opened up, as we see there. Campbell Owens now trying to look down the inside, didn't quite get it done there in the Higgins car. Up onto the front straight. Coming along, you've got a Ray, a Spectrum, and a Stealth. Coming up through the front straight there. We're now on the final lap, so Marco Manson might run out of time to catch up to the back of these guys, even though he again does another 1 minute 12, as we see there. Owens round the outside.
He's going to be able to hold it on the road.
Oh, what a line from Campbell Owens. Round the outside of Jacob Begg on the final lap. He left that late, but he got it done to take that second place away.
He's not a massive move around the outside there. So it looked like Jake was just a little bit early on the brakes as well, which compounded how fast Owens looked like he was going around turn 1 there.
That took a lot of guts to get that move done, and Owens isn't done yet. He's actually trying everything he can to catch up to Eskandari. He's probably going to run out of time, but in the last 2 laps, the burst of speed from the 23 car, Campbell Owens. So we see there now Dylan Petch trying to go around the outside of Jacob Begg. How he managed to keep that on the black stuff. The Racer Products car, he's now trying to take the final podium spot away. Not quite.
Fletcher buying into this as well. Not quite close enough. The drag race down to the start-finish line on the final lap of the race, but there is no stopping Seb Eskandari as he goes across the start-finish line to take the race win. Campbell Owens with massive speed at the end of the race there. And Jacob Begg, super happy with that one.
Takes home a podium, so that's cool to see for Jacob Begg there at his home event. This Nigel Barclay, he's running the car that's been driven by Seb Eskandari, so he'll be stoked with that. He's been around a long time, very experienced when it comes to running Formula Fords in New Zealand. And on the final lap of the race, Marco Manson set the fastest lap of the race, so he did a 1:12.1. That is ridiculous.
That is so fast for him to get onto the back of that crew there. But Jacob Begg in the New Zealand Formula Ford Championship, obviously very happy with that result, getting himself onto the podium. He will be greeted by Rihanna for the interviews after this one. Seb Eskandari taking out the race win. Campbell Owens, well, that's speed in the end of the race. Jacob Begg is ecstatic with that position number 3 there. Dylan Petch and Isaac Fletcher coming home in fourth and fifth. Marco Manson from the lead of the race, dropped off the road with some very fast times coming back through. Toby McCormack with some issues with his car as well, and Toby Musico with even more issues with a little bit of incident turn 1, which was under investigation. Let's have a look at some highlights of this race to make their way down into turn 1. Manson again with not a very good start, but rounds it around the outside of Jacob Begg to get up into position number 2. And Musico there off the road at turn 1. Again, so frustrated with that one after yesterday being out there too. We got back underway with the race restart. Marco Manson goes around the outside of Eskandari to go into the lead of the race.
It's a great battle between Campbell Owens there and Dylan Petch. Petch didn't quite get the move done. Then we could hear in the background, you spotted it, Andrew, that sound. It sounded like a car going across gravel, and it sure was. It was the race leader at the time, Marco Manson. He threw that one away a bit, but he had a great charge back. Here's a great move he made on Maxim Kerwin there, Spectrum versus Spectrum up the front straight, and he set fastest lap after fastest lap, but unfortunately just didn't quite get to the back of the top 5 there in the end.
And Owens with all that pace at the end of the race, went super wide at turn 1, just managed to keep it on the road, leaving Jacob Begg dropping back into 3rd place, and Dylan Petch tried his best to go around the outside. They were side by side into the last corner. At the end of the race, Eskandari taking out the race win. Tell you what, it's just been a battle of survival for these Formula Fords, and that's a brilliant drive by him to take out the race win. Rihanna.
Welcome him back to Allied Petroleum Victory Lane for the NAPA New Zealand Formula World Race to Sebastian Eskandari. This is all pretty new to you, but you look like you've got everything under control out there. Congratulations. How was that race for you?
Yeah, thank you. It was a very tricky race, and it started raining halfway through, I think, so that made it a bit more difficult. But we managed to start well like yesterday, but I just don't think I had the pace today, and Marco passed me, but it's unfortunate that he came off the track. But yeah, everything else was pretty good. It was just trying to keep it on the track like yesterday.
Spoken like a very measured young man. Congratulations, Sebastian. And coming in 2nd place, congratulations to Campbell Owens. Great camaraderie between the team here. Campbell, talk to us about that move around the outside in the dying stages. That was outstanding. Well done.
Well, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to stick. He braked a bit earlier than I thought. I was like, oh, I better get on the anchors, and then I came out real wide early on. I was like, oh, don't go off, and it just gripped up right at the last minute. But good work to all these boys. It was incredible racing out there. And a massive thank you to Rick at Evolution Motorsport for all their help leading up to this weekend, as well as Higgins Concrete for all their support.
You guys have certainly kept us entertained. Well done. And rounding out our podium, our local boy. Congratulations, Jacob Beck. That were big celebrations as you got out of the car. Well done. How much did you enjoy this?
Yeah, no, it was great. Obviously, it's been a tough road, so it's just good to repay everyone with a podium. And it's been a long season, long last season. So yeah, I'm just super stoked at home. Get a podium, first podium of the year. It's awesome. Had a great battle there at one point with Campbell. Obviously, he done a good move at the end there. But yeah, it was all about securing a podium, and yeah, I'm just pumped. I'm just so excited. It's really cool. So
we love to see it. Enjoy the celebrations with your team and friends and family. There is our top 3 for the NAPA New Zealand Formula Ford Race 2. We will take a very short break, but we'll be back with live racing from Teretonga Park in just under 1 hour.
It's one of the biggest weekends on the Kiwi sporting calendar, January 30 to February 1 at Highlands Motorsport Park for a milestone running of the NAPA New Zealand Grand Prix. It's the title decider of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. There's Formula Atlantics, Bridgestone GR86, GTs, some fire-breathing V8s and all sorts of family fun. Be there for the 70th running of the GP Round 5 of the Repco NextGen NZ Championship, or catch it on Sky Sport.